doing next, if you are new, grab your remote, have that thumb on the play button, but do not press it yet because we are all going to press it at the same time on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Straight into a town meeting. I love it.
Hey, John, after that, during post show, I just want to let you know that it is Nicole's birthday today, and she's on the couch. So she was with us earlier today, and we've mentioned
That I embarrass myself every time it's somebody's birthday.
yes.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Nicole.
birthday, Nicole. Happy birthday. I find this one to be one of the funniest episodes of the season.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy birthday. That was delayed. So rude, Charlie. I'm crushing up crackers for Mason.
Did Mike show up for this event? If Mike shows up for this event, we gotta get him up here.
I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him anymore.
He was recently in my hometown here. I saw some pictures of where he.
Oh, I just realized what this episode is.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
John, you're gonna be so pumped.
Oh goodness.
Oh, Gypsy. Gotta love Gypsy.
Rocks that look like famous people. I'd watch.
Okay, so a town is small enough that they can change street names. Would you ever want your street name changed?
Nope.
No.
It's TB. No, I like mine.
Too much
I
paperwork.
mean,
True.
one thing
I would
that
have
was
the
thinking
luck
is,
of the dragon. Right. Wait,
does
John doesn't
anybody know of a town in the United States? Has anyone heard of a town in the United States other than the fictional town Sleepy Hollow that has Hollow in its name?
There's gotta be somewhere.
There has to be, probably in the middle of nowhere. Or in like New England
BRB. Going to
somewhere.
Google.
Charlie.
I think there's one in here in Ohio.
Sleepy Hollow is a real place, isn't it?
Is it?
It is a real, they actually renamed the town Sleepy
It's
Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow,
It
New York.
It
Yep,
wa-
there's a place in New York.
Mm-hmm.
What? But was it renamed based on the book, on the fictional
Yes.
town? Okay, well that's different.
There's 2 names that are actually named Hollow in Oklahoma and Missouri.
In my hometown, there's a street, like a road, that's called Spooky Hollow.
I bet there are some hollers.
There's a town in Missouri called Frankenstein, and I'm not kidding.
Apparently, there's 11 towns in the U.S. named Sleepy Hollow.
Nicole, your sound.
Michelle is so
No.
aggressive.
Give.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did you know there's a place in Michigan called Hell? So when you actually tell someone go to hell, they actually could.
Yes, and it snows, so it freezes over.
I just remember Loretta Lynn lived in Butcher Hollow.
But you're holler.
No, it's Hollow. She just sings it that way.
I put jam on salmon. It's incredible.
Wait, what's incredible?
I put jam on salmon. The jam and
Oh yeah, that sounds legit.
I was gonna say that sounds pretty good.
so yes, fish can be caramelized.
Wow. Rory's so lucky.
Isn't Emily's shirt similar to Rory's outfit?
It is. I noticed that too.
Wednesday's episode, I might comment on this outfit.
That seems like it was purposeful.
It's the official DAR pattern.
Very purposeful.
Oh, Richard. He comes out with some of the funniest things sometimes.
I thought it was
Very
fun.
unexpected.
I wish I could sleep in until 8:30 every morning.
I mean, that's kind of sweet how concerned Emily seems about Lorelai.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel
she
like,
genuinely is concerned.
yeah, I feel like even though like parents and kids can have like fights and stuff like that, they're still like caring. I mean, not in my situation, but another family.
In other words, make it stop.
Anyone want to guess what the most common street name in the US is?
Main Street.
First.
I was gonna
First-
say it's First Street.
First Avenue.
It's actually Second Street because First Street often gets renamed to Main Street or something like
Wow.
Oh,
Nice.
Michelle's coat
Interesting.
looks so casual.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Oh no, no, no.
Oh no.
Oh no, no, no.
Any guesses, John?
Yeah, like
What?
12. You got 12 seconds to guess what name.
I mean, my mind is racing. I'm trying to figure it out. Doors and Boyle's Valley.
Microphone, Tasha.
Yikes.
Tasha, you need to mute. Too much sound. Thank you.
Sorry.
My most favorite quote from Michelle is coming up.
Is Melissa McCarthy like hiding a pregnancy with that bag?
I think so. I could check, but I'm pretty.
Not
No.
till season.
It was just the way she was holding the bag there.
She's pregnant with her first child in the 7th season. She's not pregnant currently.
Got it.
Who's the guy in the back that's like staring directly into the camera?
That was my favorite quote by Michelle. Do I look 205?
She takes it
Hope
way too
nobody's
far.
eating right now.
I currently am. I'm eating chicken noodle soup from chicken.
I'm having Cheetos.
I had my lunch early.
Rory Gilmore,
Love this
lucky
scene.
girl.
Very lucky.
Oh, big bag from Amit.
I do love this outfit on Rory. I will admit.
Same. I like her style this season.
Oh,
Ooh.
heaven.
Pretty.
It's beautiful. I could go with
If I was a purse girl, I'd be excited.
$10,000.
I'm a purse girl.
Yeah, I was just thinking a lot of non-purse girls probably are not crazy about this moment.
Yeah, I'm like,
Exactly.
whatever.
Oh, I'm such a purse
Laptop
girl.
bag.
It costs more than a car, but you know.
Yeah, this is a specific kind of purse.
I would
$10,000 with the prettiness.
I would lose it the first day.
I would have a pen explode.
This is a waiting list purse. It's a very big deal that he bought.
Valerie has some stories about the actual purse as well.
It's like a legit one, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they have that under like lock and key or something like that?
Yeah.
I am eating a Cheeto.
Oh, God.
This is disgusting.
So bad.
I mean, I'm not Charlie eating chicken noodle soup though.
Wasn't there someone who asked about that painting? Was that mystery solved? Because I have the answer.
It's
John,
not
did you
right.
just start your Instagram lot?
It was Henry Miller. It's
I did.
Henry Miller, boy with dog. So that's a boy.
You forgot it.
Antique lances.
Yeah.
Oops, Samuel Miller. I forgot.
Those jelly beans in the background.
Oh,
Did you order a bird cage?
oh, that was me. Sorry. My shut off step.
Oof.
Sprung.
Oh, surprise.
What is Richard up to?
He's a worried grandpa.
Logan looks confused.
Yeah, I love it.
He does that look well.
Random fact that I wanted to let you guys know. I'm eating a bag of marshmallows right now.
I miss marshmallows.
Awkward.
I think that Logan thought Richard was asking something different than what he meant.
Mhm.
Sneaky.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he's misunderstood.
Yeah.
I love the facial expressions during that exchange between him and Richard, though.
Me too.
They are so naive.
Yes, they are.
I would not want to live with Richard or Emily. However, I do want the pool house.
Me too.
I have an Amazon problem.
Not me. She says as she puts down her phone.
Okay.
I love that. Okay.
Kirk in a suit, so official.
Yeah, I know.
It's a three-piece suit.
He seems to know so much about the history.
We say this many times.
I'm surprised I haven't heard that in the fandom, that name.
Crusty Bulge.
Well, it's a spoiler.
I like that name better than Souls and Boils.
What was the last name?
Crusty Bulge. I thought he wasn't at home anymore.
Maybe he just went to mom to have her tie.
He reminds me of someone in a Pixar short.
He's the Earl from Up.
The guy.
Yeah,
who-
from Up.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the guy who fixes the dolls in Toy Story.
That is the
That's
guy
what
that
I
I'm
was
thinking about.
Sabrina.
not my favorite outfit on her.
I was just thinking Roy has very much ice cream colored looks to her these and her whole pool house.
Very cotton candy.
The pink and green motif is very interesting.
Yeah, cotton candy is a good way to describe.
She's so sneaky.
A Birkin bag.
Man, Emily loves all this.
I find it hard to believe she doesn't have one since she loves them so much.
It's the money. They don't have a, they're not that type of rich.
No, they can afford one.
Really? I don't know.
You think
Yeah.
they could have afforded a $20,000 to $30,000 bag?
Yeah,
Just a
Exactly,
20 to
Emily.
30,
There's your
that's a-
money and then there's our money.
100%.
There's a 20
exactly.
to that's a $20,000 to $30,000 bag. Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
Mhm.
I
Sarah just
I said
messaged
it
me and
costs
said it's
more.
$38,900.
I said
Oh
that it
my
costs more than a car. And no, but when Emily was shopping and seen in a mall, they make you think that they're buying like
That's true.
shoes or whatever that are as expensive as a car.
But
so.
you know, Birkins, you need to be on a waiting list. And so I'm sure Emily Gilmore didn't make.
Yeah, I think it's about the high profile status of the family
Yeah, I
rather
think-
than the money.
100%. I think that's like more what I meant to say. Yeah, it's really the status. They're only Gilmore.
So I couldn't get myself a Birkin bag if I wanted one,
I
like
mean, you
tomorrow.
could try.
I would love to see you with one for certain.
You think Luke would like it because it kind of blocks Taylor's window.
I was just thinking that myself.
I wonder why Richard didn't tell Emily how worried about he was about Rory.
I think that for folks who really love Emily and as a character, whether or not they think that she's right or wrong or whatever, season 6 is a good season for folks who really like Emily.
Yep.
It's the big season. It is a big season for her.
Yes, yes, yes. I absolutely agree. Yes.
This
I
reminds
would have
me.
to imagine that that the Gilmore guys liked season 6.
Oh,
This reminds me of
Or
when
at
they
least
were
Kevin
sep-
did.
Undo the Tootsie Roll.
This reminds me of when they were separated and she went around looking for the best.
And she said the same thing. You can't break into your own house. Smells the bag.
That couldn't have been a real Birkin bag, was it? Is that what Valerie says? That it's the real thing?
It looks like it.
Also, they
I thought
used,
she- I
they
thought
used the
she thought
bag
it
and the logo. They wouldn't have used it if it wasn't real.
Oof.
another good job.
That's one of the crew, that guy who was talking to him.
That
I
guy.
can't remember.
Oh, cool.
That guy looks like my father-in-law. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, the one with the leather vest. He was a crew member. I can't remember what he did, but if Valerie's here, she would probably know.
I love the tiny gazebo.
Oh, that I love the gazebo. I absolutely love the gazebo.
Off the map. Is that a The Office reference?
It's a great Lorelei jacket look.
Which reference? The one about the Dawn and the fishnet?
No, assistant to the whatever.
Oh,
he's
gotcha.
Where would Lorelai put that dollhouse? That thing is huge.
Everyone wants the Birkin bag. I want the dollhouse. I've been waiting all of my
Oh,
life
same.
for that kind of dollhouse.
Oh yeah, that's right, Wendy. You really love the miniature thing.
Me
I am
too.
all about
I
that.
want the doll. I would prefer the dollhouse.
That dollhouse is big, if I remember correctly, though. Like, where will Lorelai put that?
Rory's room isn't doing much at the moment.
Oh goodness. Does that stick? I want.
Emily's being a master manipulator.
All right, I have some thoughts on all this.
I bet they're the same ones I have.
That is fully ADR'd. Oh shoot.
Mm.
Yikes. Yikes.
Don't take it as like a really bad thing. He messed up.
Yikes, man. That is a super yikes from me.
He's still
Discussion
learning how to
point.
be in a relationship.
I mean, come on, we gotta hand it to
I do
Logan.
love.
This is his first time in a relationship.
I love the way that was written, though. That's for sure.
I
love how.
Go ahead.
I love how the writing like recognized that it was an awkward thing for him to say, even though he was trying to be. That was cool.
Ooh, pay attention.
Oh.
Where are you gonna put it?
I think the bathroom's a good place for it, don't you, John?
That was good. Yeah, I don't know where is she gonna put that thing? Where is she gonna put that thing?
They're renovating.
Spoilers.
We do eventually find out, so we can't tell you.
Literally
I hope
next
that,
episode.
I hope what I really hope is that she hollows it out, cuts a nice big huge doorway on it, and it becomes Paul Anka's doghouse.
That's
not a bad idea.
Pillow out.
I mean, I doubt that that's gonna happen, but that would be what I would do with it, and then it would just be I would keep it outdoors. All right, I am opening up the couch. Couch is open.
Hi, everybody. Happy birthday, Nicole.
Hi everyone.
Oh, thank you.
It's weird.
Yeah,
we're
happy
we're
birthday.
getting that like we're getting that
Thank
sort
you.
of delayed thing with the hand raising again.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Clubhouse is against.
Yeah, I'm not sure if my hand has been raising for the couch part in the beginning.
Well, thankfully, I actually got the notification too.
Carl, I keep trying to get you up here, but it keeps. Oh, there you go. Now you're.
Hey, hi, hello.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
So where do we start? Where should we begin?
Tell us how you feel
Well,
about
do you
Logan
think?
and Rory there at the end. Let's start backwards.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, do you think Logan does want to say I love you, but he just wants to make sure, or what do you think he's feeling?
I think that he probably isn't totally sure if he loves her. But he definitely feels something stronger than he has with other women that he's been with. And so I think that he is not prepared yet to say that he loves her because he isn't sure if he does. And yet he seems he has stronger feelings for her than he has had for others, and therefore doesn't want to treat her the way he has others.
Agreed, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like.
I mean, I don't know if he does love her or not. I mean, but I definitely don't think he's completely sure if he does.
Knowing what I know, I kind of have to backpedal, obviously. But I kind of feel like, I mean, the way that this whole exchange happened is so much more realistic than like normal TV, like I love yous when they happen, because normally in TV, when someone says I love you, they're like, there's like a big moment and like they run up to each other and the other person's like, I love you. And the kiss happens, so it's not super realistic. The good thing about what the writers of the show do is that they give some sort of a realistic way of like first times happening, or like saying I love you for the first time. I mean, we saw that in season 1, poorly executed. We don't need to go back there. And then with Jess in season 4, with saying it and then booking it. And then now with Rory saying it and not really expecting anything back. And then Logan kind of like having it go right in his head what he was saying, but not having it come out right. And I think, like, honestly, I think he does love her. But he like kind of like what you said, John, where he feels so strongly for her that he may love her, but he doesn't want maybe to say it just yet, because he doesn't want to just say it because she's saying it to him, because it's not really something that you want to just hear like a call and response type thing. You kind of want to like have someone just say it because they want to, not because they want to that like they think that you want a response to it, if that makes sense.
He doesn't strike me as the type of person who would be afraid to tell somebody that he loves them just because they happen to say it to him first. He seems a lot more together. That's just my perception on it. That's the reason why I'm inclined to think he just isn't sure yet. And that's also fair, because if he hasn't actually been in love before, then he would have no context for what that would feel like. And so he'd have to like spend a bit more time with it in order for him to be able to say something that big. He just strikes me as the type of person, he's kind of no nonsense. He doesn't really, I mean, I guess he was sort of nonsense with some of these other women that he's been with. But he, I think that he, at least with Rory, he doesn't seem to be, hiding anything. And so because of that, I have to assume if he doesn't want to tell her that he loves her, it's because he doesn't know if he does.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make the commitment thing work well, since it's his first true commitment to a girl and he doesn't want to just say things to say things.
I think it might also be that he doesn't want the title on it, because then he just got mocked at dinner or yelled at dinner with his family that she's not good enough to be part of the family. So he's always got that in the back of his head a little bit. That hey, I want to swear that this is right before I put a title on it and I say something, because my family's gonna be up in arms about it.
Yeah.
I kind of
So
also
John,
that
sorry, I was just gonna say real quick, the reason I wanted to start here is because I was thinking it wouldn't take a super long time, since we're gonna have plenty of other times to discuss this topic, but I just want to throw that out there, you guys, because there's like tons of things to talk about tonight. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I was just about to say that, like, I think he kind of in the back of his mind knows that that's the first time she says "I love you" to the guy, instead of the other, instead of just like the other two boyfriends, as in Dean and Jess. They've said it first, so it's also intimidating too.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I sort of feel like that moment happened and I was like, wait, did she just say she loves him? And then she clarified that she did, and then I was like, okay, she did. She didn't make a big thing out of it, did she?
No, and
Like,
I think that's the point.
No, not at all.
Like it was very she said it very casually, like very frankly, like, it didn't have quite the kind of emotional oomph that the Jess and the Dean one had. Like it just felt like kind of off the tongue, just like sort of just fell right off the tongue. And she just, and then she explained how, I don't need you to, and that felt also pretty like grounded and not like particularly emotional. I think it's just interesting. I think it's interesting.
It was almost kind of a verification in her own mind that, yep, I do love him.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Hi, Jesse. I didn't even see you there, but I recognize your voice, so I'm like, hey, I know. Hi, Emma. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like also Jess and Dean were when she was so young, and I feel like you are very much more emotional when you're young, especially if it's like your first couple of relationships. And I think, like Jesse said, like she is a lot more grounded with Logan, and that was like definitely like a reassuring way for her to be like, yeah, no, I really do love him. So it wasn't overly emotional because she was really grounded in her feelings for him. So I agree.
Well, I think that, I like how she explains that, the reason why he doesn't have to say it back right away, because of when Dean said it and expected her to say it back, and they got into the fight and broke up. So she's like, I'm just letting you know. I had, how I feel. You don't have to say it until you're ready or whatever, because I had somebody expect me to, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, I liked that too. It was a nice callback to that moment.
I also think this is a not to be a Logan apologist, but I actually think this is part of the reason why there are a ton of Logan fans out there, because I think for the first time we're actually seeing Rory choose the agency over the relationship. So, she's deciding when to say the big thing rather than it being kind of thrust upon her or having to make some sort of big choice that she's not ready to make. I think she shows so much strength in this moment, and it's because of Logan that she's feeling super calm and that everything's right. And so she really honestly doesn't seem to expect the and I love you in return. She seems to really understand who he is, and it doesn't really she doesn't need that from him. She just she can just be herself and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling, hope that's cool, and just move on, which is a point of strength that we have not seen from Rory in maybe the whole series.
Oh, sorry, John. I think that I lost my hold on. I think I agree with you. I think this is her moment to, she's really starting to I lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna stop.
Don't worry about it. I apologize for that. I really only just wanted to say, yeah. That's all. That's all. I
No,
was going
you're
to say.
fine. Sorry, but I'll say it again when I think about it.
Okay. Yeah, Veronica.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm not Team Logan, but I can really see where he's coming from as well. He didn't articulate it well, but he wanted to be like, I don't want to say things that I don't mean. So, and I think that's special because if and when he does say it, she knows that he means it. My husband actually told me that too. He wasn't gonna tell me that he loved me until he was ready to commit. So I heard it for the first time when he asked me to marry him.
Whoa.
That's true.
What, Babsy? I heard Babsy from the kitchen go, whoa.
Can I ask a general question to people? So there's this whole thing about the I love you too versus I love you, because for me, and I've heard this in several movies and also in one of my favorite recent movies called After, the second After movie. Anyway, where like saying I love you too is like kind of like agreeing with a person rather than just saying it, like saying like I love you. So show of mics, how many people who have like been in relationships and has said I love you say just I love you? Okay, and then the other one that say I love you too. Interesting.
Oh, wait,
What if you say
I'm
both?
confused. Yeah, I was
Okay,
gonna
so
say
do
I'm
you
confused
say-
by
when
that
you
one
say-
because if
Yes.
Babsy says
Okay.
I love you, then I'll say I love you too. And if
Right.
I say I love you,
So-
Babsy will say I love you too.
Or
That's-
and
that-
I
that's
love
what she's
you.
asking.
How about and I love you?
Well,
There's
that
lots of
too.
options.
But just like the two like standard ones that people say, like I love you or I love you too, because I say I love you because I don't want, like, I just think it just sounds better, because I actually kind of agree with the whole rhetoric of like saying like I love you too, to me at least, sounds like you're just agreeing with them, saying like, oh yeah, me too.
Are there
type
really
thing.
just two standards though? Two standard.
Well,
Yeah, I
no,
think-
but
I
that's
don't-
just like
not
the
at all.
two that I hear the most.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I sometimes Babsy and I will do kind of like the yeah, but I love you though, and then they'll be like, and then she'll be like, no, but I love you though.
Or
Oh,
I
so
and
be all
I
like-
love you.
Yeah, that's so
Like,
cute.
yeah,
I
no,
love
no,
you
no.
more.
That's
And then I'll be like, no, 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 no,
adorable.
no. See, but
Well,
I
I
love you
know.
though.
I know is a good answer.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah.
sometimes we do that too.
Or what
sometimes
about
we do that?
what about you're still alive, right?
I say
That.
so. Some people say, I've said it before. If someone says like you're such an idiot, but not in like a mean tone, it's like another way of saying like I love you, kind of like leaning more towards like Rory saying to Dean in season 1, at the end of season 1, saying I love you, idiot, but obviously like in a more sweet way.
I think you
Well,
bring up a
almost
good
like
point.
as you wish.
There's many like terms of endearment, and I think it depends on the people and the situation. But that is definitely a good point, and it points out the uniqueness of all of us. So
Yeah, I was gonna say there's so many
Yeah.
different ways. There's so many different ways that we express that. You know, I mean, if I'm like walking out the door, like that sometimes that will be thrown out sort of flippantly, like love you, yeah, I love you too. Versus more serious moments when we want to express that, right? Like there's just so many shades, especially in a relationship that you've been in for. That's good.
It's love language.
My mom's
Should have a
pet
more
peeve-
like
My mom's
more
pet
like
peeve was love
the
you.
relationship that we a
I
relationship
think you're
like the
cutting
one that
out.
Rory. Oh, sorry. Hold on one second.
That's okay. I think that's why the people thought you were done and they were talking. It's just really
No
confusing
problem.
for-
I think that like relationships like the one that Rory and Logan have, which is fairly young. I think that like
and where they actually have never said it to each other, right? This is the first time that she said it. He hasn't even said it yet. And I think then it kind of means a little bit more. And, you know, you have to be careful, like, you know, how it's said. And, you know, if that means something to either one of the people in the relationship. I don't know how much it means to Rory to hear it back. She probably wants to hear it back.
My mom's pet peeve was love ya when she was alive. I don't know why, but she hated when people said love ya because she thought it wasn't quite as serious as I love you.
Yeah,
But I
that to
agree with
me, that's the equivalent to me of giving a hug with one arm. I'll say, bring it in both arms. Serious hug.
I do it
Yeah.
to tease her. I teased her with it all the time.
Or a hug that's just like a little tap on the back.
Oh,
That's
it
the
drives me
hug.
nuts. It's like, don't hug me then if you don't want to.
That's the man hug.
A little tap on the upper back. Tap tap tap.
My,
You're like,
ugh. My daughter.
You know, I will
she's
admit.
Big, and then since she's a baby, she's always tapped the back. I think it's the cutest thing ever.
You know, I must
She's almost
admit.
17 now, and she's still bugged.
I must admit, like the whole time we've been talking about this, all I've been thinking about is during the episode, Tasha said that she liked the name Krusty Bulge, and that was effing hilarious.
It's better than sores and boils.
But is it a good name?
Neither
No,
are.
it's
Okay,
better.
okay, we agree on that.
Come on, at least crusty bowls. You think of like something else.
Crusty, yeah, it thinks.
Someone with an
All right.
Make you think about something else.
Talking at once. Who was
all right,
talking?
rein it in. Rein it in.
We
Crusty
have
Balls
to.
Crusty Balls is a very terrible name, but it might be better than Sores and Boils.
What if Logan is in a way telling Rory how he feels about her? Because it goes back to, you know, the Life and Death Brigade, you know, Ace Reporter and whatnot, but look how it's kind of involved in this term of endearment. He doesn't really have nicknames for anybody else, so he doesn't have to keep calling her Ace, but I just think it's cute that he has that term for her. So maybe in a way he is still expressing, hey, I'm pretty fond of you, but in a Logan sort.
Yep.
Scott said he absolutely hates Logan, and the main reason is because he calls her Ace. He thinks it's so disrespectful.
Who does?
Scott, he said that at the panel yesterday.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
interesting.
remember? I thought that
Um,
was a term of endearment.
So
I
did
thought
I.
so too, and
I love it.
actually-
That's one of the things that he said. It was awesome yesterday.
That's what
I love.
That's very, very fascinating.
I'm gonna
I
need
actually-
everybody to just pause and go look at She's post on the After Party Facebook group real quick. Should we be
I
scared?
will do that. I will do that.
No, because it's related to this conversation. Well,
I'm scared.
the previous, not the Sores and Boils, the previous conversation.
I
I
want to
will
go
say
to the
that-
Sores and Boils.
I will say that the fact that he calls her Ace gives the character room to use Rory in a really significant way at some point. So that's the reason why I like it, because I have always seen it as just like a sort of a nicknamey, you know, term of endearment. But I've also thought when he does use Rory, he can use it in ways that really matter. So if he does tell Rory that he loves her, and I hope he does, because I'm pretty invested in this character now, and I you know, I care about what she wants, and I think that she would want that. I hope that he uses her real name when he does.
She noted that he used her real name when she said, "Aren't you ever going to ask me out?" He said, "Rory."
Yep.
Exactly.
What's
Well, that's a
She's
good
actual
point. That's a
name?
good
When he's really serious, he uses her real name.
Yeah, and also when they were hooking up in her dorm room, and he asked her if she wanted him to go, and then she kissed him again. He said, "Rory, do you want me to go?"
Right. So again, when he's serious,
And she said,
he says her real name.
And that's cool. I think that couldn't exist if he didn't have the Ace name. You know, like the nickname actually allows for that.
And that's also why I love it too, because of that reason. Because he only uses her real name when he wants to be really serious with her, and I love that. And I just love Ace. I think it's a really cute nickname.
One hundo.
And it's saying that, and if we all know what Ace means, it means number one reporter. So the fact that like he's calling her Ace, and Ace is, I mean, it's the highest card in whichever way you want to look at it. It's either an 11 or it's a 1. So it's the highest card value, best reporter. It's like probably one of the best terms of endearment within the show.
Well,
Hey,
I
don't
kind
forget
of
the
look at it as like,
And not only like just the term of endearment, but also like when, I mean, that's basically him saying, I really like you. I mean, not necessarily love yet, you know, early in the beginning, but it was just like, hey, this is a girl that I'm like really like starting to like. And probably for the first time.
Yep.
well, I kind of see it as his "as you wish," almost.
Yes. Yes, Princess Bride reference.
Yes, that's cute.
Yeah, but a lot less.
Who said that? Who said that?
Me.
Who said as
Nicole.
awesome? Thanks, Nicole.
Well, a lot less creepy because I can't remember the actor's name, but he said it's like okay.
Wait, are we still on the Logan and Rory and the I love you thing?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I posed a question and you guys ran with it.
Well, so I was gonna give you
I
some
love it.
questions. Yeah, I think I feel like I was gonna ask a question, but since we're on this,
No, we can move on. We can move on, Carl.
Yeah, pivot it away, Carl. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Rory and Logan.
Pivot.
Oh
Let's-
wait.
Go big.
Oh yeah, everyone harvest. So going off of just everything that happened with the episode, I think I'm just okay. I gotta admit, the thing that I really like about this episode is just Richard losing it and just having this whole, like, just doing the whole mental gymnastics of realizing what he and Emily did wrong and what Mitchum said to him and all of that stuff. It really just made me go, Richard is doing the math. The math is mathing.
Hey Carl, so sorry, don't mean to interrupt. Hey John, what's going on with the app? It's not showing that there's any upcoming events.
Close out of your app, Tosh. Mine was
I've done it 3 times.
Then check your internet. I don't.
Go on.
Oh, let me check my app.
The events are there. The only event I can't see in the upcoming event for in the Gilmore Girls room is the one that is the new event type. I can see it if I click on the coffee cup, but I can't see it in the list, but I can see all the other ones. So you might just need to re-log in possibly after his update that he did today.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, mine looks.
Well, also like, how you can do the clear all, and then everything will go back to like coming back in, like as if it's the first time.
No, I get it.
Everybody's harvesting, yes?
Yes, go ahead, Carl. You were
Yes, I
saying?
did.
Yep.
I was just talking about Richard, doing the math on what Mitchum said to him and what happened with him, Emily and Rory and Lorelai. Like, he was putting the pieces together. And
Well, that
it was just
look
enjoyable.
that look at the end of last episode is just so well acted.
I think that's a testament to what Richard does. I mean, he's the executive vice president for an insurance corporation. Yeah, he oversees the international division, but he's all about looking at numbers, weighing risks, investing in his future. And he realizes that if they keep on this path, what's going to happen to his family? Is he going to have a future? I mean, they're all about like making up these matches and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, what kind of future will the Gilmores have if he doesn't protect his asset? It's awesome writing.
I mean, yeah, like that's why I like the fact that Richard is trying to calculate what all has happened here, because for the past few episodes, you know, the actions that have been done have been very emotionally driven. And Richard, you know, as you said, Zach, is a businessman. He's an insurance businessman. You know, his actions are calculated, kind of like what we see Emily Gilmore. Her actions be calculated, sometimes emotionally fueled, but sometimes calculated. You know, they're together for a reason. They think very simple.
Maybe I'm
California.
maybe I'm missing something. Is there a motive here with Richard that I'm not seeing that's deeper than his sort of feelings about Rory and her position in all of this?
Zach, do you think that, sorry, Carl, do you think that the same motive that you see with the calculated risk of Richard, you see with the calculated Emily sending all of that stuff to Lorelai? The same calculation?
For this episode, no. I just meant in general for the series.
Okay.
Can you please explain the calculated risk thing in regards to Richard? What calculated risk is he trying to mitigate?
Sorry, is that for me or for?
It's for anyone who, because I didn't see that. So if you can clarify so that I can understand.
Sure. Oh, no problem. So the way I see it is he's kind of looking at what's going on with Rory. He's looking at what's going on with Logan. He's doing some investigating. He's looking around and he sees that, okay, something's going on with Rory. I don't know what exactly is happening, but the fact that he showed up at Lorelai's door at the very end of the episode with this kind of like doll, like delivering himself, is like, we need to talk. Like, okay, he's obviously, you know, they've reached like what's the term? He's crossed like a threshold. He's come to a point. You could see him like thinking and looking, and I just feel like he's very like active this episode. So usually we see Richard just, you know, he's in a study, he's doing this, but Richard is not. He's on his feet, he's moving around, he's doing some investigating. So, which is something is exactly what some sort of, I think, an insurance adjuster or someone in that business.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see that, but I thought what you were saying is that he's actually protecting his family's. Well, you weren't suggesting that he's like actually trying to reduce risk as it applies to his own family's fortune or his own family's.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not at all. His family's overall well-being. He's finally seeing that, okay, you know, maybe matches, you know, maybe money, maybe people succeeding in more ways than just marrying up or marrying into something is, you know, what am I doing for my grandfather, or what am I doing for my granddaughter? What am I doing to my granddaughter? So that's
Okay,
just kind of what I'm saying.
So we're on the same page. He's still thinking about the fact that Mitchum may have crushed Rory and sent her off the path that he believes she should be on, and his his participation in allowing Rory to stay in the pool house and you know, take off of Yale is actually playing into all of that and potentially hurting Rory's future. And now he's realizing he needs to course correct. And now that's what that last moment with Lorelai is like. I'm coming here. We need to talk. I agree with you now, and we need to figure out a solution.
Absolutely.
I kind of figure. Yeah, I totally agree with that, because like obviously I mean, in the beginning we knew what they were thinking, and because obviously Rory couldn't go home and they didn't want her moving in with Logan, so the only obvious other choice was for her to move into the pool house. Now, did they expect what happened since her moving into the pool house? Not that anything bad has happened, but like her in the beginning kind of just like lollygagging around, speaking with maids, and then Richard kind of sees what is happening with Rory and the DAR, and now a natural, like I can't say too much more than that because it will spoil, but we kind of see now that Richard's kind of thinking, well, crap, we effed up,
And I mean, Emily might not feel that way, but like Richard feels that way. And we kind of see, okay, like him like kind of waving the white flag. It's like, okay, we need to talk about this. Him kind of being like, okay, I'm here, I'm willing to listen to you, that type of thing. But like I said, I can't say much more.
Do you think there's any symbolism with the dollhouse, or was he just like dropping it off like there was a reason?
He
Like
didn't want
I'm
it to
bringing
go
it,
away.
like
Oh, for sure. There's definitely symbolism with the dollhouse. I think it's more like he's trying to protect his family, and that dollhouse means a lot to Lorelai.
Plus, it was a good excuse.
There's a lot of symbolism behind that.
A good excuse to come to her house. Something that was special to her.
it's also part of Lorelai's childhood, and maybe he's like, okay, I maybe didn't make the best decisions with you. Here's something that reminds me of that. I don't want to make the same mistakes with Rory.
Oh, absolutely.
And I couldn't have. I don't think I could have gone down this path without Carl. He brought up some really good points, and and Tasha too. And I feel I need to recognize.
Thank you.
Hey, John, I have a general question about the Remarcus app and Clubhouse, if I may. I am not getting any kernels at all. Like I've checked and checked and checked over the last few days, and I'm not sure if I'm using the, like I tried to make sure that I signed in with the same emails and stuff for both things, for both apps, but I don't know how to check on here if I have or not.
Are you harvesting?
Me too.
Are you harvesting? Did you RSVP to the event in the club, in the Remarcus app, and did you harvest the kernels? Because you actually have to, there's actually an action that you have to do inside the Remarcus app. It doesn't just automatically give you kernels for attending events. You have to first RSVP to the event, which you have to do at least an hour before the event starts. After that, within an hour of the event starting, you can no longer RSVP to the event, which means you can't earn kernels from that event. After RSVPing, and only after RSVPing, will you then get the option to harvest those kernels at the end of the event or 15 minutes before the event ends. And you also do that in the Remarcus app, not in the Clubhouse app.
Okay, because I did try to RSVP one time, like last week, but it like said like how many kernels or whatever, and I guess I interpreted it as, oh, like this is how much it's gonna cost, so I don't have that, so I didn't RSVP then because I thought I had to have that amount already in order for it to work.
That's an example that you're actually not thinking of the RSVP, you're thinking of the reservation for the couch. Again, this is all going to be resolved once I start getting a little bit clearer on the names of things. What you're referring to was RSVPing for the couch, which was a one-day thing that we were doing that day. And yes, you did need kernels in order to do that. And if you didn't have enough, you wouldn't have been able to. RSVPing as an attendee to an event is a different thing. That has nothing to do with getting on the couch. That has to do with the kernels. Again, it's just an example of how I need to rethink naming conventions of various aspects of the app. But what you're referring to is not the same thing as harvesting kernels.
Okay, so how do I just regular RSVP?
Yeah, so if you go into an event, if you go
Like
into an
tomorrow's.
event, yeah, like go into an event for tomorrow, and you'll see at the very top of the event. Now you have to be signed into the app. You can't be looking at an event without being signed in. You have to be signed in. Your user account has to be signed in. You know that you're signed in because the bottom tab on the far right will be a little avatar. It will be like a little person, and if you click on that, you'll see your profile. Then you know you're signed in, and then go into the calendar and go into the event for tomorrow, and you'll see at the very top, you'll see a little thing that says RSVP.
Okay, so this week, upcoming.
Why don't I message you afterwards, and we'll get you all set up. But this is just also another reason why a lot of this stuff is sort of like insider stuff, like, you know, folks who've been here for a while, they know it, they get it, you know, and folks who are just starting are still kind of having trouble figuring it out. And it's just more reason why we need some documentation. We need some tutorials that will explain everything clearer. But in the interim, if you're having problems, if you don't really exactly understand how all of this stuff at the app works, but you do want to get involved, just send me a message and I'll help you.
Okay, I did figure it out. I found it. So thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. No problem.
Sorry for all the questions.
Not a problem. Here's my thing about the Dollhouse. It's just something that like came to me as I was, you know, with like, just as Lorelai is like, I love that Dollhouse, you know. The thing that's interesting about the Dollhouse is that the Dollhouse is a part of this old world of hers that she ran away from. Not only does it represent her childhood there in the house that she seems to be completely averse to, like doesn't like anything about that world, doesn't even like going over there or whatnot. The actual house itself, the Dollhouse itself, is a little model replica of a really, you know, like fancy, nice looking house. It's odd to me that Lorelai is so attached to it. And I'm trying to reconcile that. I'm trying to understand it and figure out if there's some psychological thing that can explain it, because it feels not Lorelai to be all that into that house.
I think it's just because that's all she knew when she was a child. And that's
Yeah, but there's so many aspects of her childhood that she rejects, that she's like,
But
you know.
was it really his childhood, or was it really her childhood, or really her teenhood?
Maybe it was an escape.
Is it
from-
also
Yeah.
possible
I
that-
mean, of course, you have this swirly
it?
dress that she said that she, you know, was always like that. But I mean, I think it's just the part of her childhood that she loved. I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Also the fact that like, this is the other part of it, which is the fact that she's like so resistant to that world, but she's had this thing that she really loves that's been sitting there, and she's okay for that world to sort of act as a sort of storage space for this thing that she loves.
Is it also
That makes
possible
sense.
she's hoping that at some point in life she might have another child or something like that? But it's also, wasn't it also a line somewhere that Emily kept it under glass so she couldn't play with it? So it's maybe, hey, this is my chance that I can have my childhood and play with my dollhouse.
No, I don't think it's, well, maybe.
I
but
mean, the thing
I
is
think
that like
it's
if
more
someone has a bad childhood, they cling on to things around them more than the people around them.
So almost like Stockholm syndrome, the way they treated her like a doll, maybe, and like, you know, they dressed her up, they wanted to follow a certain thing, they controlled her life. Is, I don't know, I'm just kind of exploring.
There's also that aspect of that her really wanting to be the daughter that they wanted to have, but she never could be or meet their expectations. I'm not saying that they're not meeting her expectations, but she did run away from it because she never could meet those expectations. But it's that she always strives for it, because I mean, things do affect her. She's always trying to have a good relationship with them. And so I think it's just part of something that she loved about her childhood.
Is she
you know what I
really
mean?
trying to have a good relationship with them? That I have seen very little of during the course of the series. I mean, I've seen her acquiesce. I've seen her, you know, I've seen her like, you know, like try to be nice in situations when she needed to get something, but for the most part, she's constantly judging that world. She's constantly using hyperbole, like negative hyperbole, to talk about her mother and that whole world. You know, I totally buy this idea that there would be this thing from her childhood that she would really hold on to and find and think fondly. What's odd about it is that this world that seems so like against and doesn't like to even step into it, she's okay, not just okay, she sort of is like now kind of scared that this world is going to get rid of this thing that she seems to have loved all that much, which sort of suggests that the world that she can't stand so much, she's kind of cool with that world holding on to things that she does care about. Why not pick that thing up like years ago if she really cared about it? She could use it in the Dragonfly. She could create some really nice little display for it or something. It just there's something about that fact that like she's getting so upset with her mother about wanting to get rid of this thing, given the fact that she's been so against that world this whole time, and now she's like, she sort of needs something from that world, which is just simply hold on to that thing for me, please.
Do you think Emily's doing it on purpose?
Is it possible she was never offered it before? She couldn't take it? I mean,
You think that she asked for it before and that her mother?
It's possible.
It just seems odd to me too, that her mother would be like, I'm getting rid of this thing, but that like maybe years ago she asked for it and her mother was like, absolutely not, you can't take that. Like that also kind of like, I'm having a hard time sort of reconciling that.
Still maybe has some issues or anger that she left the way she did. They were hurt for so long, so now you want a piece of our world.
And why wouldn't they let her have it for Rory though? Like, why wouldn't she have asked for it for Rory like years ago?
Yeah,
I would think that too. As a mom of a daughter, I think I would have tried to have gotten that like as soon as I had her, or taken it with me when I could.
There's just something about the Dollhouse that I can't really totally put my finger on it. I'm picking out little things here and there that like don't feel quite right. But there's something about that Dollhouse thing that like felt off to me. I don't know why.
Oh, sorry if I was making noise. I didn't mean to be unmuted. Oh, it feels off to you? Well, maybe it's because you never had a dollhouse, John.
No, I mean the doll, just the whole fact that she wants it now, that she cares so much about this world being her storage facility for it. And, just like, there's just something about it that doesn't seem to add up. I think the house is awesome. I actually really like miniatures, so I think that's cool. I'm wondering why she didn't get why if she loves it so much, why she didn't get it earlier. And the idea that she couldn't because her mother wouldn't let her, I mean maybe, but then that seems to sort of clash with how badly Emily seems to want to get rid of it now. Also, I do think that like getting it for Rory. But I don't know. I'm talking around it. All I can say is that it felt weird. That whole transaction and the dynamic and whatnot. It just kind of is a part of all of the confusion about how much Lorelai doesn't like that world versus the things about it that she does. That it's just a little confusing to me.
I feel like it's an ownership thing. Like. Even so, like I left some stuff at mum's when I left, and even so they were kind of mine. I felt like, because they've always been in that house, it kind of belonged to them, and not that you'd be stealing it, but you feel like you'd be stealing it if you took it with you when you were leaving, because it's still a part of that house. But so I feel like it was like an unspoken agreement that it was something that Lorelai would end up with one day, but it was never actually a spoken agreement. That's how I saw it. So they knew to her, but it was just an unspoken agreement that would happen at some stage.
So I would like to share a point that someone on the beanbags brought up. Our lovely friend Regina. She said, Lorelai is very resistant to change. This is nothing new. Like when she was shook that Mia was selling the Independence Inn, when Luke wanted to move into the Twickham house, but she didn't want to sell her own home, when she didn't want to replace her Jeep. These are this is a repeat of what's going on. She doesn't like change. And I agree with that angle and point because, personally, I don't like change either. And I probably would have done the same exact thing that Lorelai is doing right now with the Dollhouse. So for me, it makes sense. But that's because I don't like change. And I also see for Lorelai's character while watching Gilmore Girls, that she is a person that doesn't like change unless, you know, she's doing the changing.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the Tasket episode where Luke and Lorelai are having that picnic, she's like, when Luke is like, Miss Queen of Flexibility here, she's like, I'm flexible as long as everything's going my way, completely flexible. I mean, she was joking, but I mean, it's completely true all up until this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of it as the kind of the same thing as when Mia was telling the inn and she said, you know, Rory and I won't have a symbolic home, or she used some kind of phrase like that. And I don't know, I could see her, I hadn't thought about it before, but I could see her not thinking to bring it to her house for Rory even, just because that's like her symbolic, like that's her childhood and her childhood lives there. And so I feel like it's just this kind of big symbol. And they did mention it, I think it was in Rory's birthday parties. I'm sorry, somebody may have mentioned this earlier, I was kind of in and out, that she said it was like one of the only things she liked from her childhood too, I think.
But that she wasn't, what I think that somebody even said that she wasn't really allowed to play with it or something.
Right, they kept the plastic on or something like that.
I think I remember that Emily told her that it was under glass, so she wasn't allowed to play with it because it would get dusty.
Are we spoiling? Because I kind of feel like that's.
No, that wasn't an early.
That was an early.
Okay.
When they showed her bedroom at some point.
Oh, right.
It wasn't that she ever played with the dolls. It was all pristine.
Yes, it was in Rory's birthday party.
Got it.
So I don't know that it's. I think if she had played with it, she'd have different memories of it.
So what she's saying here, she's like, I'm getting rid of it. And what Lorelai is saying is, I really want it. I'm going to come get it. I just can't come get it within like that very short time window that you're giving me, right?
Yes.
Because if she's saying, I really want it, but keep it there, like, please use that house as the place where it can be stored, then that's the part that I'm like, wait, what?
It seems like Emily's being very passive aggressive to say, why haven't you gotten it yet? And I've been sending you stuff all week, and why aren't you dropping everything to do what I need you to do, calling me? It's her way of, well, you aren't talking to me, so why aren't you talking to me? And we need to talk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need a little more time with that one. What else do we have? I'm gonna probably be heading out here in a bit.
Street names. Did we talk about the street names, or do you not want to talk about the street names?
I mean, we have a fan of Krusty Bulge on the couch.
Krusty Bulge was fun. I mean, this episode was very funny. That all of that. I
told you.
This episode was very funny.
It was very funny, and Kirk was hilarious. I love that moment when he's like, "Please sit." Okay, she like sat down. I love that. Yeah, I mean, that stuff was interesting. I did for the first time really think about the name of the town, Stars Hollow, and for whatever reason, what happened was, you know, it begins with like, since the founding of our town, you know, and it was like, you know, these two colonial soldiers, and then that just got me thinking about the, you know, Stars Hollow being, you know, founded at that time, and then thinking like, oh, Sleepy Hollow, that kind of takes place around that time too, right? And then I thought, wait a second, like, are there any, is Hollow, like, was that like a popular name for towns at that time? If it was, then there would have to be some hollows that have stuck around, you know, because that's the way it is. Like, maybe some towns get renamed, but there has to be several that didn't. And other than Sleepy Hollow, which is a town that seems to have been renamed Sleepy Hollow based on the book, it doesn't seem like there is any hollow. So then I'm wondering, did Stars Hollow come from Sleepy Hollow? and nobody, I guess.
No, I'm sorry. I thought I hit my unmute. That would kind of make sense. Like maybe that inspired them a little bit. I mean, there aren't very many things that have hollow in them. Like
I mean,
it was like covered in that episode with the museum. Remember, John? These woods, hollow, the stars.
Stars, hollow.
Yep.
Yeah, but why the writers decided to kind of name it that.
Why did they choose Stars Hollow? And like, you know, what is a hollow? And like, it is hollow, like, does that word mean some sort of little town or some sort of little area that a town might be set up in? Why aren't there any other towns with the name Hollow, other than Krista sent me a back channel message saying that she had a street called Todd Hollow Road, but I told her I think that's just Todd's last name. But it seems to me that like Stars Hollow, Sleepy Hollow, they have two things in common, or they have one thing in common actually, and which is they're both like colonial era towns. And so now I'm wondering, like, did Amy come up with Stars Hollow? Was she in some way inspired by Sleepy Hollow? Because otherwise, where would she have gotten that from?
I don't know. The woods behind my house was called this. There used to be really old barns on our property, and my in-laws used to use it as on the chicken coop. But the whole area, I live high on the ridge, and then down in the ravine, it's all woods behind my house. There's like 100 acres of woods behind my house, and that whole hollow. And there used to be there's an old dump where you can find old leather shoe bits and old 100-year-old plates, and that whole area is called Spook Hollow.
Is a hollow like is it a valley? Is it woods? Is it, what is a hollow?
I don't know. I currently live it's called Utah County, but we call it Utah Valley because we're surrounded by mountains. So there's mountains on either side, so we technically are in a valley. But I don't know what would really represent like a hollow, because not to veer too off, but the Winnie the Pooh location, it's a 100-acre wood, but wouldn't that also be considered a hollow too? So what constitutes a hollow?
I call our hollow a 100-acre wood.
It usually means valley, I think.
In the reference to the tree in particular, so a hollow, I just looked it up just to see.
Hollowed out.
But it says a hole or depression in something, as in a hollow at the base of a large tree. So like Winnie the Pooh lives in a hollow, under the tree kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I just found, sorry, go ahead. And then I found an article.
Yeah, but it could be, there's a lot of different kind of meanings that apparently to a hollow, depending on how it's
like a hollow could be like a hole in the woods. So like maybe it would be like a clearing somewhere in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, that's what I think like ours is, because there's a big valley and there's a creek that runs down the center of it. And I don't know why they called it Spook Hollow. Maybe it was haunted. I don't know. Maybe there was bad things that happened.
Has nobody in the fandom asked this question about the etymology of the name Stars Hollow?
I just found it in an article. According to this particular Entertainment Weekly article, it says the name for the town of Stars Hollow, according to Sherman Palladino, was inspired by Mia Farrow's home in Connecticut called Frog Hollow. Dan Palladino had taken a meeting with the actress at an inn nearby.
Well,
That's awesome. I think, John, you should ask Sheev to come and explain the hollow to you, because he's trying to explain it to me in text.
Well, okay.
What are you doing, Sheev? If you've got information, come up onto the couch.
Yeah, come on up, man.
Can I say something though?
He's setting me straight.
All right.
Can I say something before Sheev says something? if he comes up.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna be heading out here in a second, but Sheev, can you hold your thought? Tasha had the thought. She's gonna make
Quick
it
second.
somewhat quick, so
Hey.
that you can give us your info on what a hollow is, and then I do have to head out here in a sec.
In the season 4 DVD special features, when they kind of broke down like Stars Hollow and like the characters and all the cast members were talking, Amy was saying like where they got the idea for Stars Hollow was when her and Dan took a trip through Washington Depot, Connecticut, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for the town, but the name apparently is from Mia Farrow's Frog Hollow.
That's pretty good. All right.
Well, okay, there we go. That's answered. There are places called blank hollow.
I feel
blank
like
hollow.
in West Virginia, I drive through West Virginia a lot because we do bike races and stuff there. And I believe there are lots of little towns called things with hollows in it, or they call
Okay.
it. I've
you go.
seen signs. I know I have, and I'm pretty sure like West Virginia is full of sort of places like what is behind my house. So I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, there's loads of hollows. Hollows is a super common town name. It's like
There you go.
very common. Yeah,
You
it's,
could have
it's basically just,
ended this discussion.
It was fun. It was
like
fun to hear
minutes
all the
ago.
theories.
Yeah,
it
let us
was
know.
fun to hear all the theories.
Yeah, Steve, tell him what you were telling me, how you were setting me straight in text. Now tell everybody.
Is that your actual name?
No, Palpatine is the Emperor in Star Wars.
Dear God, I was trying
He's
to actually
evil.
find the
Don't
thing that you
listen
put
to
on.
Sheev. He's evil.
It's
No,
it's
I-
Ron, right?
Yeah, it's Ron. Yeah. Like I started my account on Clubhouse before I joined the Remarcus group, so it was a sort of a Star Wars thing. But
You can't really change. They don't make it easy for you to change things here.
But yeah, no, hollow is generally either in wooded areas. It's kind of a little valley, little ravine, kind of like a lowland kind of wooded area. But it's generally always like it's woods, forests, that kind of thing. In the South, you'll hear people call it a holler, but yeah, it's
a place where you could throw a good flaming pumpkin at somebody, for example.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so basically it's like an Eastern Seaboard thing, because those kind of woods are the types of woods that would have hollows, not the Western woods, which are like the redwood forests and stuff, the different kind of forest. But the Eastern forests have that hollow aspect.
I live in the East. I live in Ohio. So I have a creepy spook hollow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Georgia,
behind
there's
my house.
hollows, and then obviously they go all the way up the coast, all the way, New England and everything. So that tracks. And it would be definitely like a small little town. You're not going to find a metropolis like hollow.
I love it.
See, that's all we needed. We just needed Sheev's input.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel more and more like that's all we really need. I'm gonna head out, everybody. This was a lot of fun. Good episode. I don't know if I'd say this is gonna be a memorable episode for me, although I am going to look and see how possible it will be for me to get my own Birkin bag by tomorrow.
Oh, by tomorrow.
A waiting list? You have to go into the future, dude.
I'll just
Put it into Josie's college fund instead.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
metal stamp you the names, okay? Like on a piece of metal. I'll just put,
I would have to imagine a Birkin bag would hold its value, or maybe even appreciate. That could be a really good investment, right?
Yes, it definitely is. Babs, you definitely get something out of it.
Bazzy is not. I don't think she would really care all that much about a Birkin bag, but maybe Josie will. So maybe I'll take a look tomorrow, see if I can't pick up one on eBay.
I'm not sure if John's going to be with us after
Oh my
that.
God. How old is she now, John? 6 months old?
She's 6 months old. Yeah. All right, everybody.
Okay.
They're born.
I'm heading out. Thank you all. I will be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. We're diving into episode 7. As I said, if anybody has any questions about the app and about kernels and RSVPing, you can certainly send me a DM if you're having any issues or problems. certainly let me know that. And I will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, John.
Thank you
Have a
again.
good night. Thanks.